something like Kava is such a tremendous relationship you can form with the plant and an ally, because it comes in and offers immediate support and immediate comfort to bring you into a state to which you can clear up some of that noise and actually be able to approach and formulate a strategy to soundly address whatever problem that you're addressing. That's how it was for me, right? Meaning it's like, it's so easy when we're in any kind of degenerative or isolated state, right? We're struggling physically with disease, emotionally because of whatever breakups, this and that, or just living on planet Earth, in the world we live in, et cetera.
Yep.
Or psychologically, it's so easy to get paralyzed by the stress and trauma and anxiety of it all, where we end up out of our higher selves we were talking about in that sort of big picture thinking that we get into through meditation practices, good people, support systems, all that kind of stuff. It's so easy to get into that reactionary fight or flight, isolated, just try to survive. Who cares about all this spiritual shit? Like, look, I got to pay my bills. And
we've all been there, dude.
My spouse is dying from cancer, or I've got, and it's like, and it's one of those things whenever you start to hear all of these deep strategies, people are just so paralyzed by like, how do I even begin to start doing that? So what I noticed about a medicine like this was that we could give it to any patient, that it would actually help them feel better and get more into that expanded state to where they can actually start strategizing and they feel it's inspired. The three adjectives we use even on all the products are, focused, relaxed, inspired. There's more that we could use, but it's basically, because it helps to open the mind and focus the mind to clear it. It also relaxes that sort of trauma response that keeps you in that paralyzing sort of fear, like freeze or fight or flight or anything like that. And it opens up the mind to where you're kind of in this inspired state of mind, right? Because you feel like more of yourself. And when you feel like more of yourself, you're inspired to express more of what's in you, and to be and to actualize your potential, right? Which is the greatest ethical crime that anybody could commit against themselves, is to not fulfill their potential as a human being and to be who they were meant to be fundamentally.
Fuck yeah.
And
that's it.
And again, Kava as a tool and as a catalyst is a first sort of line of like, when you look at therapeutics, it is a pharmacological intervention of the mind that's a pattern interrupt, which is so cool, right? Because it's something that almost anyone can tolerate. Where you are, like, again, like if you're atrophied and you're in terrible shape and someone says you need to get in shape or whatever, would it be smart to jump in the gym or jump in a marathon the next day? No, that's kind of what like just taking ayahuasca can be for some people.
That's right.
And it's like this medicine is such an approachable medicine that kind of gives people what they think they want out of alcohol, but alcohol is like the kind of unkept promise. It's kind of like it's sort of like, it is kind of in many ways the opposite of what it's portrayed to be or what we believe that it is, right? We believe that it's going to improve our sociability and improve our connection with others, when really in many cases it does the opposite. And it detracts from physical health across the board. There is no physical, contribution that it makes to you. It only detracts, right? It's a mitochondrial
and of
poison.
Course people right now are going to be like, well, Cameron, what about like, all these people that smoke cigarettes and drank soda and drank a beer a day and lived to 100? It's like, in any kind of path of evolution, there's always going to be outliers. So I don't believe in that shit where people say, oh, well, what about so-and-so? It's like, well, yeah, what about like literally 10 billion other people?
Well, but plus it's also that thing of like, we talked about, all these inspirational figures that had these vices. What would their potential have been and what could they have reached as far as well-roundedness in their life? Alan Watts could have had his great wisdom and maybe better relationships with his kids.
On Earth?
If he had 20 more years on Earth. And he could have had
young,
maybe
like 50s, right? 50s, 60s.
Yeah. And maybe he could have had the best of both worlds of, through his desperation, gotten that sort of peak at the wisdom, but then also been able to get a level of existential happiness from long-term good relationships with his kids, from being more balanced and not having the weakness and the vice and the, I pretend like I knew Alan Watts. I'm just saying it as like as a thought exercise.
I feel like I know him. I've listened to him in the shower for like 10 years.
Yeah, me too. Right. So it's one of those things that when people say these kind of things, it's kind of like, whenever people's, you talk to people that still in 2023 are smoking cigarettes, which, to someone who's been down this road and is actually understands the magnitude and the impact of it, it's just like, it's like, what, yeah. why would you ever do that? But I say that, but I fully understand for all the reasons that we've talked about why people do this. It's not a judgment in any way.
Yeah.
Because I have done things, I've been immersed in addiction at different parts of my life, et cetera, right? But I've also been on both sides of this thing. And trust me, I like this side a whole lot better.
That's so good. Okay, let me ask you this.
Check out some of the videos on this screen that are perfectly curated based on the video you just saw. Make sure you follow me, and I'll see you in the next video.